Fantastic. Now you were mentioning expanding your range outside of Burgundy, which brings us to this 2022 Pinot Noir, Vin de France. Now, for those people unfamiliar with that term, what does that mean exactly?
Right. The history comes from, to be honest, with when I bought the company, because I was before in other companies working in varietal wines from the south of France with premium approach. When I bought the company Doudet-Roudin, my idea was obviously to focus 100% on Burgundy wines. But after a couple of months, some of my clients that I had before told me, Christophe, we would like to have a Pinot Noir and a Chardonnay from you, but especially for the HoReCa market, for the wine by the glass, with something which is trendy, easy drinking, serious, but not complicated. And I thought that it was not easy to find in Burgundy because we know the positioning of the price with Burgundy red and Burgundy wines. And my colleagues changed from wine pub in the UK or somewhere else told me that the positioning of the price for Bourgogne Chardonnay and Bourgogne Pinot Noir was not exactly what they were looking for. And so I said to them, I can see one opportunity, which could be that a Burgundy history-based Negociant based in Burgundy could work on a style of pure Pinot Noir and pure Chardonnay with a Burgundy approach in terms of profile of wines, but coming from another area from Burgundy for economic reason, because it's cheaper to produce out from Burgundy, and second, because as a technician, to be honest, Jamie, I was interested to see how we could try to make some wines coming from grape Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, the same than in Burgundy, but coming from another area. And it was really a challenge for a technician like me to see how we could go from a grape grown in the Languedoc and try to achieve a wine which was finally not too far from a Burgundy and a style. And this was the idea at the beginning. So I took my glass and I've been in Languedoc to try to taste a lot of wines coming from different areas in the Languedoc. And I tried to make some winemaking from Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. It took me 3 years to achieve exactly the same style of wine that I was expecting. And during these 3 years, I made some wine that I sold in bulk to other Negociant based in the Languedoc. But I did not bottle it because I was not 100% happy with the style of the wines. And in order to make the link with the history of Doudet-Roudin, Burgundy profile and Burgundy-based company, Doudet-Roudin. So I was very, how can I say, focused on the style of the wines, which was a pure Chardonnay, a pure Pinot Noir, with fresh profiles, acidity, not over-matured, that sometimes we can find in the Languedoc, with freshness and a lot of fruits to make something easy for people to understand and easy for everyday occasion. You know, you have some friends which are just arriving at home before lunchtime or dinner, and you just take one bottle from your fridge or from the cellar, something easy drinking with a couple of pasta or tapas, and something easy and understandable for most of the people. So it was my first ideas.
Interesting. So people don't really think of Pinot Noir. That's not the first thing that comes to mind when they think of Languedoc. But there's actually more Pinot Noir planted there than most people would imagine. I think something that's interesting about this wine, a lot of the Languedoc Pinot Noir I have tasted, this comes from near the Pyrenees, right?
Yes. Mainly we have two sourcing, but one is close to the Pyrenean Another one is close to a specific area, close to Carcassonne.
Oh, right. I know the area very well. I used to go to a festival in Carcassonne every year religiously. So,
All right.
yeah, so I know the region well. The thing is, most of the Pinot Noir I've tasted from Languedoc does not have the delicacy and the elegance that one finds in this glass here. So I have to commend you on that. You really have managed to capture that kind of Burgundian style with that Languedoc fruit. Would that be a fair enough assessment of what you were trying to do here?
It was exactly what I was expecting. I mean, your words make me happy because the thing is, what I was expecting was really a wine with a lot of fruits and elegancy and freshness. And
yes.
Indeed, you're absolutely right, Jamie. It's not easy to find in Languedoc because of the climatic conditions, which makes Pinot Noir sometimes hard to grow in good conditions.
Yes.
But I think there are two keys, or maybe three. The first one is the terroir, where we need to pick the Pinot Noir. And indeed, close to the Pyrenean countries, the soils are more calcareous.
Yes.
The altitude can be up to 600 meters, which is very high, where we can produce some Pinot Noir which are not over matured compared to the Pinot Noir you can find in Béziers or Montpellier
Yes.
or Narbonne, where the Pinot Noir are more over matured and not in my styles. And second is probably the harvest time, because if you want a Pinot Noir to be more fresh, you don't have to wait too late. And you need to have the polyphenol maturation, but not wait too much have too much alcohol and keep the acidity. So I think this is the second criteria. And the third criteria, of course, is more linked with my direct impact on the wine, which is the wine making, with our own process of winemaking, which is more or less what I do in Burgundy, but of course I had to adapt it. And I must say that in this wine that you've got in your hands, the Vin de France Pinot Noir 2022, absolutely half of the blend is totally unoaked and with the winemaking in stainless vat, whereas 50% are vinified with oak process, stave, mainly stave, but also ships, and also oak barrels, which are coming from Burgundy. Of course, not new oak barrels, but second-hand or third or second or third hands or years for the barrels, in order to try to work the style of the wines in a Burgundy approach. So I'm not a magician, but I try to take advantage of my knowledge in Burgundy to try to make my best in the Languedoc with these wines, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir.
Fascinating. Now, do you have a second location in Languedoc for making this wine?
Yes, absolutely. We do that. We do not have our own vineyards because we buy the grapes mainly from France. You know, I'm in the wine trade for 30 years now, and from year to year, you build a specific relationship, which obviously is based on people who have the same approach of the wine business or the wine industry from you, especially speaking about the quality and the profile of the wines. And mainly I'm working with friends who produce some Pinot Noir grapes that I buy from them, and I vinify in different cellars in the Languedoc. Then we make a final blend, and we transport the wine from the Languedoc in bulk to Burgundy, where we make the bottling.
I see. Now, the interesting thing about this wine is you've managed to capture the essence of Pinot Noir with the kind of elegance and sophistication that one would find from Burgundy, that kind of vibrancy, that acidity. And it's quite amazing you do it at that price point. You mentioned about having this wine as an everyday wine. I definitely see that. I think sometimes people think of Burgundy as being, well, especially in North America, Burgundy as being something very special for a special occasion. Whereas this is an everyday Burgundy, and it really is quite a delight to drink because it does have that freshness, that lightness, which you rarely see in Languedoc Pinot. If one were to have this at the dinner table, what would you suggest you pair this with? I can see it as being very versatile because of that vibrancy, that acidity, but I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Okay. For me, yes, indeed, it's as you said, an everyday wine because as I always say, and it's clear to understand to the consumers that it's not a Burgundy wine. It's a wine from Languedoc, which is made by a Burgundy producer. That's very important to insist in this because the price positioning is not the one from a Burgundy because it's not a Burgundy wine. But I try to do my best in terms of quality with this wine, which obviously is on retail price on North American market, probably under $20.
Correct, yes.
Between, I don't know, 18 or 19, $20. This is important for me first because of the price increase that we have seen globally speaking in Burgundy. We cannot ignore it. I think that it's not my responsibility, but I think that for me, that's important for peoples who cannot afford to buy a Burgundy wine to have access to a nice Chardonnay and a nice Pinot Noir with a cheaper price and with a, let's say, Burgundy styles, but more simply a nice Pinot Noir and a nice Chardonnay. Speaking about the how I recommend it with food, this is one of your question.
Yes.
For me, it's an easy Pinot Noir. It means that I love this. I love it when we have a nice opportunity to do that with friends. I mean, that's the most important, and the wine will be probably better when it's shared at the last minute with a nice opportunity with friends.
Sure.
It's not too complicated. I mean that it's not wines which match very well with very sophisticated dishes. Other Burgundy that I do will be much
more suited to that. Yes.
Much suitable with a nice game or a nice food, complicated food like some Savigny Premier Cru or Corton Maréchaude or Pommard Premier Cru. But this wine, I love it with a simple plate of charcuterie and fromage, you know, mixed with cheese and charcuterie. I love it with simple pasta. For example, I love it with carbonara, pasta, this sort of things. And more and more, I like it because of the nice roundness and acidity. I love it with mixed grilled fish, very simple à la plancha. Yeah. I love it like this. More and more, I like the association of light Pinot Noir with grilled fish.
I understand. What I'm thinking of right now is I'm thinking of my lunch, like a nice Bayonne ham, jambon. I can imagine. I wish I had some. But this is it's a real delight, and I like this idea about having this on hand for people just turning up at your door, because we always have that around about Christmas time. So I think I'm going to be investing in a few bottles of this. Thank you very much for introducing us to the wine today and the history of your house. And hopefully we'll have a chance in the not too distant future to share a glass together, whether that be over in Burgundy, Languedoc, or perhaps over in Ontario.
With a great pleasure, Jenny. You will be always welcome in Savigny-les-Beaunes or somewhere else in the world. Who knows?
Fantastic. Take care, Christophe. We'll speak soon. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Bye.